Hey everyone, this is Thyworm with a new build for Last Epoch, the Serpent Strike Beastmaster. If you're enjoying Last Epoch, consider subscribing. Let's start with the build philosophy. Serpent Strike is a skill I have not used much, and it is a really interesting skill. It does massive poison damage, it's got a versatile skill tree, and it requires a pole arm to use. I hope we'll get more skills like this in the future with some niche requirements and restrictions. It makes you more creative in many ways, which may seem counterintuitive, but often by imposing restrictions, people get more creative. The Serpent Strike Beastmaster inherently lacks a bunch of defenses, but you make up for that by just going full dodge. The build requires 2 uniques, apart from that there aren't many requirements. I made it to around wave 130 in the arena, monolith is smooth too. Some of the pros: I thought it was a super fun build to play, stabbing your enemies from a distance while your pet takes care of whatever remains. It has good synergy with your pet and you can make use of specific passives to boost that synergy. Leveling was really easy as soon as you reach level 12 and get the Serpent Strike ability, and overall it is a good all-round character that does well in arena and monolith. Primary setback is honestly the performance of this build. We have companions running rampage, there's totems everywhere, green poison clouds. It is an 11 FPS build in the arena, which is not great, but it is what it is right now. Another drawback is that I'm expecting incoming nerfs to both poison and entangling roots, which will definitely negatively impact this build. I make builds, however, as a sort of blueprint. You can follow them step by step and you're gonna be fine. Or you can extract the main core of what makes this build good and use that to experiment. If you want to discuss this build in more detail, you can find me on my Discord. Feel free to join, the link is in the description down below. Let's dive into the passives. We're looking for poison damage, damage over time, attack speed, minion damage and some defenses, primarily dodge. We take 6 out of 6 Gift of the Wilderness, granting our companions and us some health. 5 out of 5 Primal Medicine for minion damage. I took 1 point in Primal Strength and 2 points in Survival of the Pack for some leech. Take 1 out of 5 Hunter's Restoration just to get to 4 out of 5 Hunter's Emanation. Those 2 nodes combined provide a very decent buff to your minions every 3 seconds, increasing their damage by 44% for 3 seconds. In theory, this buff is always available. In practice, it is up quite a lot as well, because we are attacking a lot. Our last point goes into Ancient Call. It is just a good value proposition. 15 million health for 1 passive point. Up next, we invest in Beastmaster, which is our specialization. Take 8 out of 8 Feline Bond. It's a lot of dodge for us and our companion. Take Artor's Loyalty, which limits you to 1 companion, but it makes that companion a lot stronger. And we really need only 1 companion, the Scorpion. To the left we take a defensive buff, Boarheart. Take 5 out of 5 Boarheart, granting a buff that reduces 15% damage when hit, the aspect of the boar. Take 5 out of 5 Porcine Constitution, getting that reduction up to 30%. And I took also 3 points in Primal Strength, which procs aspect of the boar on hit. 12% I found a good number as we're usually hitting multiple enemies. On the right side of the tree there's a nice damage buff. Take 1 out of 8 Savagery just to get to 1 out of 8 Ambush. You really only need 1 point to get the attack speed buff, which is what we want. 10% attack speed feels good. Take 1 out of 5 Rending Maw just to get to 4 out of 4 Hunters of the Deep. It grants aspect of the shark to your companions and increases its duration. Top left we find a lot of poison. Take 5 out of 5 Envenom, which is super good value. Take 10 out of 10 Viper Fangs, granting aspect of the Viper. This is really the bread and butter of the endgame build. It increases attack speed by 30% for you and your companions. It procs on hit 30% of the time, and once it procs it gives 100% increased damage over time and poison hit chance. Absolutely a game changer. I took 4 points in Rattlesnake, increasing effectiveness and duration because I found that enough to keep aspect of the Viper up at all times in the arena. Our final points in this tree are in 10 out of 10 Hawkwings for a bunch of dodge and some haste on hit. And finally take that point in Natural, strengthening your companion even more. I started leveling the Druid skill tree because there's more poison damage over there. Take 10 out of 10 Barkskin, mainly for the health. I would max out Spirit Claws for some flat damage and then take 10 out of 10 Return to Dust, which works very well with our build and provides some more health restoration. Skills are up next. We start with Serpent Strike, our primary skill. It has a 140% chance to poison on hit, which means it applies 1 or 2 poison stacks every time you hit an enemy. This poison lasts 40% longer as well, increasing the time you have to apply multiple stacks of poison, which is why particularly attack speed is so good with this skill. So go bottom right, 5 out of 6 Nagasa Venom for additional poison chance and 50% duration. That's pretty sweet. I took 2 out of 3 debilitating poison, inflicting blind on enemies, reducing their accuracy. We go south, 1 point in Plague Bearer just to get to 5 out of 5 Spear Flurry for 35% increased attack speed, which is absolutely huge. Take 6 out of 6 Primal Reflex, granting 60 dodge on hit for 4 seconds, which stacks by the way. So the more you hit, the more you dodge. If you hit a group of enemies a couple of times, dodge spikes up to 80%. Finally, I put 1 point in Primal Serpent, which occasionally summons that serpent. We have a bunch of minion stats, so he does pretty well and usually stays alive for a bit. Then our main pet, the Scorpion. At first I tried the top right corner with some Poison Novas and Clouds, but I found it lacking damage. Instead I went for Baby Scorpions and poison damage. Go bottom left to 3 out of 5 Steel Carapace, making the Scorpion tankier. Then 3 out of 3 Maternal Instinct, summoning baby scorpions. Then take 2 out of 2 Fertility Rites, increasing the summoning speed, and take 4 out of 4 Scurry, making the babies attack a lot faster. That is really a massive damage increase, because these scorpions apply all the poison hits much faster now. Take 4 out of 4 Tempered Tantrum, mainly for the poison chance, and finally 4 out of 4 Concoction for some guaranteed poison stacking on hit. But maybe more importantly, plus 20 health on hit. Combined with all your passives, your scorpions heal themselves, and I never have to revive the big scorpion anymore. Third skill, Thorn Totems. We take our standard top part with 3 out of 3 Forested Expanse, 3 out of 4 Eternal Forest and 1 point in Grove Mind, instantly summoning 5 totems. Then we turn these into Poison Totems, so take 2 out of 5 Memories of Eterra, just to get to Venom Tipped Thorns, 5 out of 5, giving Thorn Totems a 100% chance to poison on hit. We increase the poison damage further by 2 out of 3 Lasting Affliction, increasing duration, and 4 out of 4 Rotten Core, which makes the totems explode into a poison cloud on death, or when they are resummoned. Because of some idols, I'm constantly resummoning totems, so we have poison clouds all over the place, killing our frame rate. If you want more frames, don't take these notes. Moving on to Frenzy Totem, which synergizes quite well with this build. It grants Frenzy, which is attack speed to us and our companions. Take 1 out of 5 Revitalizing Totem, just to get to 5 out of 5 Venomous Intent, granting global poison chance. That's very good, that's another half a stack of poison on hit, on average. Then we want to make our totems last a little longer, so take 5 out of 5 Reinforced Totem. Let's increase the range of our Frenzy Totem, taking 5 out of 5 Reach. Finally, increase the buff itself, take 4 out of 4 Rabidity, increasing the frenzy effect by 40%. Our final skill is Pure Utility. It is the completely overpowered skill Entangling Roots. Probably up for a nerf this one, but not yet, ladies and gentlemen. Not yet, as patch 0.7.8 is not here at the moment. You use Entangling Roots primarily for its slow, the snare effect. I believe enemies are slowed 80%, which is just ridiculous. Let's make Entangling Roots sustainable, so take 4 out of 5 Nourish, which heals us. Then take Bountiful Harvest, some more healing, and go to Mana Bloom, which grants anyone standing on the roots 1 mana per second. This skill basically pays for itself now. While you're at it, take Roots of Lab, spreading the spell over basically 4 patches, super useful in Arena. We want to make this stuff last longer, so take 1 out of 4 Reclamation just to get to 5 out of 5 Lasting Briar, increasing the duration by 75%. Then make your way south, 3 out of 3 Grove Master for a 90% increased area, making it hit more enemies. Take 2 out of 3 Imbued Sap, increasing our allies' damage. Basically everything friendly is an ally, so your totems, your companions and later party members. Take 2 out of 5 Venomous Patch, giving serpents and scorpions an additional 60% chance to poison. This skill really does it all. Time to look at the gear. This build has 2 mandatory uniques in my opinion. First, there's Drow Sting, which is just made for this build. Mine rolled 175% poison damage and 163% chance to apply poison on hit. Combine this chance with the default Serpent Strike chance of 140% and you have over 300% chance to apply poison, which means you apply 3 poison stacks each hit. That is a lot of poison, ladies and gents. The other unique that is super common and works really well with our build is the Viper Tail for more poison chance, attack speed and a good chunk of dodge, plus a bit of slow chance. Just an amazing unique for this build. All other gear is focused on defenses, meaning that I am glancing blow capped, I'm crit immune with 100% crit avoidance and there is a lot of dodging going on. 49% by default. Start hitting a single target dummy however and it spikes to 76%, only by using Serpent Strike. it can be much higher, hitting multiple enemies and using more skills. Elemental resistances are abysmal, as you can see, but I'm making it to wave 130 nonetheless, simply because of the dodge, and because I know by now which enemies to avoid and which enemies do elemental damage. Finally, the idols just get a bunch of summon thorn totem on hit. It resummons the thorn totems, which creates all these poison clouds. It's beautiful, and there's really nothing more to it. About leveling, it's really super smooth leveling this build. You start with whatever, a wolf or something. At level 12 you spec into Serpent Strike and you will immediately see the effect. Make sure you equip a pole arm or this skill doesn't work. Then at level 18 you equip the Drow Sting and the rest of the campaign is history. I never died up until the very last zone where an ice elemental one-shot me, also because back then I didn't have cold resistances. Don't go overboard on the poison damage while leveling, but get some of that dodge as well to balance it out. Poison is strong, you will kill enemies anyway and bosses die fast. Make sure you take care of at least some defenses while leveling, or you're not going to have a good time with this build, because without dodge it is very squishy. Finally, the playstyle during endgame. Here's the build in action. It's rather straightforward, honestly. Your main job is to keep your distance and poke enemies with Serpent Strike. When you get surrounded, cast Entangling Roots. I took Fury Leap on my skill bar as an escape tool. Summon Thorn Totem doesn't need to be on your bar, as you are automatically casting that because of your idols. You plant a Frenzy Totem near you and your allies for that sweet attack speed, and then it is just move and poke, move and poke, move and poke. Don't stand still for too long, because there's no way you can see what is going on, as the Thorn Totems create poison clouds and anything below that becomes practically invisible. Well, green I suppose. It's one of the most enjoyable builds I have played, however, despite the frame rate issues. And to be fair, during the campaign and in the monolith, the frame rate is totally fine. In a confined space like the arena, it's not. I hope you have fun with the build and that the guide was useful. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. See you all soon. Bye bye.